Hi, welcome to the Melissa Copel Chocolate and Pastry School. Today is all about ice cream. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my super easy and super indulgent Tanzania 75% couverture ice cream with chewy chocolate brownie inclusions. Stay tuned, wait for it. For this recipe, you're going to need the following ingredients: whole milk, non-fat milk powder, invert sugar, Tanzania 75% couverture, cream, sucrose or granulated sugar, dextrose, maltodextrin with a DE12, ice cream stabilizer, monoglyceride emulsifier, and sea salt. So we're going to start by putting our milk in a pot along with our cream. So we're going to take the milk and the cream. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine essentially all my dry ingredients. The invert sugar is the only exception because although it is part of the dry solids, it is a sugar, it is very sticky in texture. So just to make my life easy, especially in production, I'm actually going to put this into my liquids. So we're going to take our invert sugar, put it into the liquids. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up my liquid to around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. So I have my sucrose, my dextrose, my maltodextrin, my salt as well, and our stabilizer and emulsifier. Let's get our milk and cream started. We're going to bring it up to 40-50 degrees. We're going to incorporate our dry solids. We're going to bring this up to a temperature of 85 degrees, meaning we're going to pasteurize all the ingredients at 85 degrees, not just the dairy, but also our dry solids, our sugars. Remember, in your kitchen, in your production kitchen, your sugars, whether they're in bins or containers, etc., they're exposed to a multitude of things. They're exposed to oxygen. Everyone's going into the containers, maybe with spoons and spatulas. All those things might be carrying bacteria. So we need to ensure that we pasteurize everything, every ingredient, not just the milk and the cream. So 85 degrees to ensure proper pasteurization. I'm going to put my chocolate on standby in a small little Cambro container. So when we reach that 85 degree mark, we're going to pour our base on top of our chocolate, and with a hand blender or a stick blender, we're going to homogenize it. All right, our mixture has reached 50 degrees. I'm going to slowly incorporate the dry solids. So I add a little bit, I mix, I add a little bit more, I mix, and I add the rest, and I mix. And now we're going to bring this up to 85 degrees. Another reason why 85 degrees is such a crucial temperature is because at 85 degrees, or we need 85 degrees minimum, to fully activate the stabilizer and the emulsifier. So essentially, if you're not going to bring your ice cream base up to 85 degrees, it almost defeats the purpose of adding a stabilizer because they're not going to be fully functional. Okay, induction's off. I'm now going to pour this in one shot over my chocolate. And there's no need to chop the chocolate because this is sufficiently hot enough that it's going to melt the chocolate evenly. If I want, I can start this with a whisk just to get it going, and then I'll switch over to the hand blender where we're going to ensure a proper homogenization. Now, homogenization is really important. It's not just a matter of mixing it for 10 seconds and walking away. The longer you homogenize, the more powerful your homogenizer is, the smaller the micron of your fat globules and your ice particles are going to be. And in ice cream and sorbet, I always like to say smaller is better. The smaller the fat globule, the smaller the water particle, the smoother your ice cream is going to be. If you wanted to have a proper homogenization, again, a small hand blender, a small stick blender is probably going to be okay for a restaurant setting where you're making ice creams and you're pretty much spinning them and serving them within a day or two. But if you're talking about getting really serious with ice cream and opening up an ice cream shop, you're going to want to invest in a very good, heavy-duty tabletop homogenizer. One where you could basically bring your jug of 5-10 liter mix of your ice cream base, lower the homogenizer, set it for speed, set it for time. You're looking at a minimum of 10 to 20 minutes of homogenization, and this allows you to walk away and do something else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, touching the surface of course. We're going to cool this down. So this is a really small batch, so I could cool this down by putting it in the fridge. If you're starting to get into batches where you're doing 2-3 kilos, you're going to want to cool it down in ice as fast as you can. You want to get it down to 4 degrees Celsius as soon as possible. Then cover it, put it in the refrigerator, and allow it that overnight time to mature.
Welcome to Melissa Couple Chocolate and Pastry School. Once you spray, you're done.